Good morning. My name is Dan, one of the pastors at TLC. Welcome to this morning's daily Devo. This last weekend in church, Renee spoke on what is commonly known as the high priestly prayer of Jesus from John chapter 17. High priestly prayer, what does that mean? Well, a priestly prayer is someone praying on behalf of others. Jesus was praying for his followers at the time and for all his future followers. That means he was praying for us. And if it's a prayer of Jesus himself, we can know it was a very powerful prayer. And it was a prayer that represented what was most important to him at the most difficult hour of his life on this earth. You want to know the heart of Jesus? Read this prayer. Now, one thing we tend to just skim over when we look at this prayer is the first verse of the chapter, before Christ prays anything at all. The chapter starts out with this. After Jesus said this, he looked toward heaven and prayed. Another translation would be, and raising his eyes to heaven. He had been speaking with his disciples, but now it was time to pray. And the first thing he does is he raises his eyes toward heaven. Jesus assumed a posture when he prayed this very important prayer. He looked toward heaven. This was a typical Jewish prayer posture in that day. Now, the question is, did Jesus need to look toward heaven so the Father would hear him? Definitely not. So why did he do that? Maybe it was just to show his disciples that it was time to pray. Okay, guys, let's get quiet. It's time to pray. That's actually a great way to get a group of people to quiet down. You know, you're in a Christian meeting of some sort, like a Bible study, and you just can't get the attention of everyone. And so you say, okay, let's pray. And people quiet down pretty quickly. With Jesus, maybe it was just his habit of doing this. He would do this when he prayed. Or maybe this was a special moment. The point is, he assumed a posture of prayer. And Jesus never did anything that was meaningless or just because of a tradition or a habit. I believe there was a reason for it. And one reason could certainly be that he was giving us an example to follow. Now, that we shouldn't think that we should assume the same posture that Jesus did, but that posture itself in general is important in prayer and worship for that matter. I've been reading a couple books by Tish Harrison Warren, and in her book, The Liturgy of the Ordinary, she talks about a time when she just could not pray. The words would not come. She had had a very tough year and just could not find the words to invite God into what she was going through. She had no words, but she could kneel. She could raise her hands. She could lift her eyes to heaven. Her posture led her in prayer. And she says, eventually, the words came as well. There may be a time for you when words just are not there. You just don't know what to say to God. Maybe you're going through that right now. You may not know what to say, but you can kneel. You may not have the words, but you can sit where you are and lift your hands and raise your eyes to heaven. I encourage you today to let your posture lead the way, and I believe your heart and the words will soon follow. Have a great day and have a great week as we remember together the cross of Jesus on Friday evening here at the church and the victorious resurrection of Jesus in our Saturday and Sunday services. Hope to see you at church.